Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the February 17th, 2019 special edition of The Breast There Is, The Breast There Was, and The Breast There Ever Will Be Wrestling Podcast. As always, I am your host, Mikey B, WWE, and today is a special broadcast, of course, because tonight's pay-per-view event is the Elimination Chamber. On the card this evening, we have six different matches on the main card. And before I get into my predictions for these 6 matches, I'd like to first off state what my prediction winning percentage is currently entering tonight's event. I sit out of possible 90 matches at 57 correct out of 90, which gives me 63% correct. So hoping to improve on that tonight. So let's get right into it here with the 6 matches on the card. The first one is a no disqualification match between Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin. This is a match normally, I picked last month Braun Strowman to be the victor of the Royal Rumble, which ultimately went to Seth Rollins. Braun Strowman's a guy who I feel is certainly going to be in the main event picture once again this year and will likely get a belt at some point this year, one of the top titles. So naturally, my inclination would be to say, well, Braun Strowman's going to be victorious over Baron Corbin. However, since he's not going to be in at least the title picture at come WrestleMania time, as far as things are shaking out right now, that leaves the question: what sort of a feud will Braun Strowman have at WrestleMania? And I believe the answer to this question is Braun Strowman will probably be having a program with one or both of Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre. I think that's what the WWE, in my mind, I think will do. They'll have sort of a battle of 2 of these big behemoths, so or maybe 3 of them even. So I think in this particular match, even though Braun Strowman I think would win in a clean fight one-on-one with Baron Corbin, I have a feeling Drew McIntyre is going to involve himself helping Baron Corbin and will get the victory. Since it's no DQ, I'm choosing Baron Corbin to be victorious over Braun Strowman, which I believe in turn will set up a program heading up in the remaining month and a half or so before WrestleMania. So my prediction for that first match is Baron Corbin to be the victor there. The second match on the card is an Intercontinental Championship handicap match with champion Bobby Lashley and his little sidekick Lio Rush taking on Finn Balor. Finn Balor, much like Braun Strowman, is another individual who I believe is going to have a big year in 2019. I think he's poised to probably win one of the top titles himself, but in the meantime, it's nice that a nice consolation prize will be giving him the Intercontinental Championship, which I think he will win. However, I do not believe he will win that belt tonight. Given the stipulations that it's a handicap match with Lashley and Lio Rush taking on Finn Balor, to me this seems somewhat obvious that they're not going to have Balor beat these 2 guys when they're working together and probably able to do some sneaky, dirty maneuvers and tactics to be victorious. So I think Balor's, at least he'll get his due at WrestleMania. I think that's when we're on the road to WrestleMania, sometimes it appears that they're building certain programs to culminate at WrestleMania, and this is one of those which I believe will. It may even feature some additional people. It could be a triple threat or fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental. Regardless, I think Balor will lose tonight, but probably win at WrestleMania. So the winner of that match, I believe, will be the winners, I should say, will be Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. And so Bobby Lashley will retain the Intercontinental Championship. The third match on the card is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The champions, The Miz and Shane McMahon, are taking on the Usos. I think that The Miz and Shane McMahon's tag team won't last all that long, but I think this will last certainly until WrestleMania time. So I think these guys are going to hold the belts until then, and that may also be a tag team championship match, which could feature a third or even fourth team in that competition. So, but for tonight's purposes, I have The Miz and Shane McMahon retaining their championships. The fourth match on the card is for the Raw Women's Championship, which is Ronda Rousey, who is the title holder, taking on Ruby Riott. This one to me is the biggest no-brainer prediction of the night. Ruby Riott, while certainly very skilled and a good heel character for the company, to me it doesn't make I don't see it happening that Ronda Rousey is going to drop her belt until WrestleMania time. It remains to be seen if she's going to face Charlotte Flair and or Becky Lynch, or how this matchup is going to shake out come WrestleMania. But one thing which I think is a foregone conclusion is Ronda Rousey will be defending that Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. So, sorry, Ruby Riott, Ronda's going to have your number tonight and retain her belt tonight. The fifth match of the evening is an historic match in the WWE. It's the first ever matchup to determine the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. And it's being done in none other than the Elimination Chamber style match. And this one here has 6 different teams competing for the very coveted first-time champions for Women's Tag Team Champions. The 6 teams are Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Iconics, Nia Jax and Tamina, Carmella and Naomi, Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, and Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Now, before I release what my prediction will be for this matchup, I think it's important to note that there has been certainly some big controversy in the last 24 hours surrounding one of these participants. Unfortunately, in a real-life capacity, there's rumors all over the internet right now that Carmella has been having a real-life affair with Corey Graves, the commentator for both Raw and SmackDown, which is makes me wonder if I was unsure if Carmella's even going to compete, or if Corey Graves will be commentating tonight. It appears that they're going to proceed with the plans as scheduled, and these guys are hopefully. I think probably their absence would cause more of a distraction than their presence. So, but regardless, I do not think Carmella and Naomi will be victorious in this one. If anything, for that reason, possibly alone, that she is causing all this distraction. In my opinion, I think for such a momentous first-time champions, it has to go to 2 individuals who have been with this company for a while, who are deserving of such a high honor. So I'm thinking that the company is going to reward Sasha Banks and Bayley to be the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. After all, many months ago, back in the fall of 2018, they were the first ones mentioned as saying that they wanted to be hopefully the first Women's Tag Team Champions if they were to have these such belts. So they were the first ones mentioning it on the broadcasts, and they're very deserving. They've been with the company, worked their way up, both through NXT and now in the main programs. Both have held the other top title. So you know what? Sasha Banks and Bayley are fully deserving, and that'll be a very, I think, crowd-pleasing moment when they win the Elimination Chamber match. And the 6th match of the night is another Elimination Chamber match. This is going to be disputed for the WWE Championship. The 6 competitors here are the new Daniel Bryan, who's defending the championship, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, and Samoa Joe. Many of these guys, with the exception of Samoa Joe and Kofi Kingston, have held this top title already before. Kofi Kingston, it's worth noting, put on quite a display this past week in a gauntlet match in order to secure his spot in this matchup, and he looked great. He lasted nearly an hour, defeating some major guys like Daniel Bryan and others as well. So Kofi Kingston, it makes me wonder if the WWE's plans to branch him into an individual capacity this year, because he certainly displayed that he still has all the athletic prowess and in-ring capabilities to be a very deserving champion. So I don't know. It's interesting to see what will develop or come of this. Having said that, though, I don't think Kofi Kingston will win the championship tonight. And Samoa Joe, I think, while he could make a run at some point, I don't think he's going to win tonight. I think what will happen is since Daniel Bryan, the new Daniel Bryan, has been accompanied by Eric Rowan, as his sort of henchman. Rowan's going to get involved and help Daniel Bryan retain the belt, because I think Daniel Bryan will be defending that belt come WrestleMania time. So the new Daniel Bryan is my pick to retain the belt there. So I guess all in all, the only new champions of the night, I believe, will be the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Sasha Banks and Bayley. I think the rest of the championships will be that are contended will all be retained by the current title holders. So there you have it, folks. Those are my predictions. Hopefully it's a good event. Elimination Chamber matches are always pretty fun to watch. So we'll see what happens. Thanks very much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel below if you liked what you heard. And thanks again, and see you next time.